The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast.
Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Matt Boydner.
I'm Zachary Owen Turner, and today we have a big show for you. We're going to break down the Mando and Grogu Super Bowl teaser. We're going to talk about the new CEOs at Disney, and then we're going to break down the Games Radar Galactic Racer article and go into the Canon Comics Corner to talk about the Legacy of Vader finale. But before we get to all that, we have a question from Kai. She asks, what are the best romances in Star Wars? Matt?
Well, and it's funny because my brain immediately went to, so happy Valentine's Day. Talking
Yes.
Star Wars romances, but there isn't one that ends happy. I can't think of a single one. Maybe Padme's parents. I mean, they're mourning their kid.
Bail and Bria?
Okay, they die
Organa?
together.
They die together. They don't
Owen,
know they're going to die.
Owen and Beru, yeah, they do. Well, I guess, yeah, they don't know. But Owen and Beru get burned together. Anyway, but that's not whether or not a romance is good, if the story ends together. But, I think my favorite one, to me, the only real competition is Han and Leia and Kanan and Hera.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the best. There will be people that will say Anakin and Padme, and I'll be like, I don't get it. Because for me, when a woman says, don't look at me like that, why not? It makes me feel uncomfortable, and then you smile at them. That's hella creepy and not romantic at all. But anywho, so for me, it's toss-up between Han and Leia and Kanan and Hera. But Zach, I think you have a whole ranking.
I have a ranking. So at number 5, I have Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress.
Ooh, okay.
Because that book is so beautiful, and like him bringing her from the dark side, she bringing him to the dark side. It's just a very good book if you haven't read The Dark Disciple. At number 4, I have The Couple from the Lost Stars book that Matt and I both love, which is about two people that one goes and joins the Empire, one joins the Rebellion, and then at the end they come back together, but they are in love kind of the whole time. Number 3, I have Obi-Wan and Satine, because the moment of, if you had just asked, I would have left the Order, is so beautiful, and her dying in front of him. At number 2, I have Kanan and Hera, because the beautiful, beautiful moment, when they have a kid together, but the moment of him pushing her back and his eyes going from cloudy to clear so that he can see her one last time before he dies, will make me cry right now. And number 1, I have Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan.
What?
No, I'm kidding. Number 1, I have Han and Leia, because it's such beautiful. I love you, I know. Even when they're divorced, their love for each other shines through. We hope that you all, dear listener and watcher, has a great Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day or whatever you're celebrating this week. Celebrate some love with the people that you love. And if you would like to tell us your ranking or have any questions for us, email us forceofothersradio@gmail.com, and we will talk about it on the show or get in the comments. Now back to our regularly scheduled podcast. Matt, how was your week? Busy week, I hear. And how did Star Wars find you this week?
So again, for people that don't know me well, I'm going to talk about Junior Theater Festival again, because we went again. There are 2 of these every year, and for some reason they put them on within 3 weeks of each other. I still remember, I might have told the story in the show before, but this was a couple years ago. So we go to JTF with my theater academy in Atlanta with teenagers, and we go to JTF West in California with the little kids. I don't know why I'm putting them on the sides of the screen for you. But anywho, so I have been to and fro California. This is with my 8 to 12-year-olds, little goobers that can't really take care of themselves, and they try and fail. And so we take care of them. But it was a good time. I love Sacramento, California. It's beautiful. It was weird that it was like 70 degrees, 60 and 70 degrees for a lot of the trip in early February. But it was a solid trip. We got to see a concert from Michael James Scott, one of the genies on Aladdin on Broadway, and he was great. He was well aware of the group that he was with, because these kids, when there's 4,000 theater kids in a room and they're watching a theater like Star, they're going to yell at them. And regularly at one point he was like, "What'd you say?" "Yes, love that." Moving on. Didn't say moving on. He was just like, "Yes, be yourself. I love you too," and just was vibing with the crowd the whole time. It was great. But and then because I was at another JTF, I don't get to watch Super Bowl anymore. I see bits and pieces. But I had two takeaways that I thought were really funny. Well, one takeaway that was funny and one takeaway that I'm going to talk about. But so the Patriots got wrecked, if you didn't watch. I thought it was so funny that they showed the picture of the Patriots quarterback, Drake May, and his dad years ago when Drake was like a kid. And I think they were at the Super Bowl. And I don't know why they showed it late in the game when he was getting beat up. And I was like, don't cut to a picture of when he was young and happy now. Do that at the beginning, not when he's getting beat up in the biggest game of his life. I thought that was terrible. Do you have something to say on that? Or
I just thought it was funny because I think I was with somebody and he goes, "Was that picture taken last year?" Because he's so young. He's 23 and a star, but he looks so like bright and fresh and happy.
And then they literally cut back to him in the game, and he was just like staring, 1,000-yard stare. But all that I'll say in terms of the competing halftime shows of it all, dog, if you think if someone else's way of life being celebrated threatens your way of life, that is a you problem, and you need to deal with your insecurities. That's all I got to say about that. But as for my Star Wars week, it was weird. So I read iJedi, and I'll talk about that next week. I'll talk about it today if there's time. Classic Legends novel that was a mixed bag of many mixed bags for me, and I'll dive into those bags next week. But speaking of mixed bag news, and speaking of Star Wars Legends, this just came across kind of my feed last week. Eckhart's Ladder made a video about it. But there were two competing Star Wars Legends exclusive conventions, and one of them sued the other. Legacy Expo was late last year out in California, but there was going to be a Legends Con in Dallas that I didn't know about that basically had to cancel, and then was suing Legacy Expo for, I guess, like using some of their promotional material or something. But it seems like it's much pettier than that. I don't have all the information, but it was just like, guys, why would you do that instead of just joining forces? I don't understand. It seems like there's a lot of red tape and just ugliness, but at the end of the day, it seems like both cons are going to just never happen again now, and Star Wars Legends is going to further fade into obscurity, which is stupid. It should just be able to exist. But anyway, sorry to end on sour notes, but I was too busy to enjoy any Star Wars this week. I've just been busy. But Zach, how was your week, and how was your Star Wars week?
Week was good. Star Wars week was also good. I did some voiceover stuff this week, which I don't know if I can talk about or not, so I'm just going to not talk about it. But I have 2 projects in the can for the year, which is pretty cool for me. And yeah, so that was really good. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was kind of boring. Just when 2 teams are really good at defense, it makes for a very boring game. I really enjoyed the halftime show. If you didn't catch it, Pedro Pascal was there dancing, so the Mandalorian was on the field. So that's a little bit how Star Wars found me. And the other way is it's just been so cold here that I have been dressing as if I'm going off on a tauntaun every day. It has been 0 degrees. It has the other night it felt like negative 14 degrees. That was the feels like, because the wind was so high. If you've seen the videos in New York of the people like literally like being pushed by the wind, that's like 4 blocks away from where I work. So that was me. I literally was like, "Ugh!" And I bought these goggles for a Star Wars costumes that I have in mind, but they're nice. They go over your face and your nose and all that. And right before leaving one day, I was like, you know what? The wind is so strong, I'm going to pick them up. And I wore them, and it was the best decision because the wind is so strong and so cold that it can literally like break your skin apart. Like you can get like windswept but cold, and it can really be a lot to deal with. So I brought the goggles. I had my scarf and everything. I was head to toe,
Protected.
Just protected. And a friend of mine invited me out to the Barcade, which is a bar and arcade, and I got to play the Star Wars trilogy arcade game with the joystick, which I played before in the past, but it was a nice like recreation, and I spent most of my coins on that game because I wanted to play all three. I beat Boba Fett. Vader beat me because I didn't understand how to attack him, but you figure it out. But it's cool. It takes you through the attack on the first Death Star. It takes you through the snow walkers on Hoth, and then the second Death Star, like the speeder bikes through Endor all the way to the flight. And it's really fun. If you see the game, I encourage you to play it. I got some video, but the frame rate is so different that like the TV keeps on doing the like so I don't know if we'll post it, but I have some video of it, so we might put that up. So that's kind of how Star Wars found me. Besides watching this little Super Bowl spot.
Yeah, shall we?
Which is the Mando and Grogu Super Bowl spot.
Yeah, so you probably know what it is by now, friends, but it was unavoidable to find out what it was, but I haven't literally watched it yet, so here we go.
Sometimes we choose our path. Other times the path chooses us. Through it all,
I love
we
that
keep
it's
pushing
tauntaun.
forward, driven by a deeper purpose, guided by an unseen force. The journey never gets any easier. The bond just gets harder to break. This is the way.
Only in theaters and IMAX May 22nd.
Okay.
It's a great Super Bowl spot.
I'm gonna don't autoplay to another video. Stop it. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's hilarious, and I think that people need to chill out.
Yeah, it is so funny. I mean, it's reminiscent of like the Budweiser Clydesdales. Like how many times have we seen a cart running through the snow on a Super Bowl ad? I love it.
Yeah,
I love that it's for Tauntauns because we didn't know that they were going to be in the movie. Do you think we're going to be on Hoth because we have walkers and Tauntauns now?
I honestly don't know. Like, that looks like something that they could have entirely put together for this. I don't think we're going to get Din and Grogu in Santa's sleigh being pulled by Tauntauns. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think what doomed this was expectations. People heard that there was going to be a Super Bowl trailer, and so we all thought that this was going to be the theatrical trailer, and it wasn't. It was a joke, which is good. That's a good thing. I've seen people saying that, like, well, Solo got a whole Super Bowl ad, and I'm like, yeah, that was also the first trailer that was released for that movie, right? True. We got the teaser trailer months ago. Had we had no idea this was coming, I think everybody would just be vibing right now and would have thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But
also, do you think Sam Elliott's going to be in the movie?
No. I just think it's that they want. I think Sam Elliott has voiced some of the. So if you don't know what that's parodying, it's the Budweiser Clydesdale commercials. You know, if you're young and you weren't around in the 90s, you have no clue that was a thing. Pretty sure Sam Elliott did that, or it was a voice similar to his, right?
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, guys, is that normal movie marketing, it doesn't change. The final trailer will come out about 2 months before the movie drops. So it is February 10th at the time of recording, right?
Yeah.
Like, would I have loved to see a version of a Mando and Grogu promos that were joke commercials all over the Super Bowl? Sure. Would that have been millions upon millions upon millions of dollars and drive up the marketing for this movie like crazy? Yes. So I don't see a problem with having fun and doing a silly joke.
Yeah, I think it's great. I accidentally saw it and I was like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, I love that it's Tauntauns. I love the monologue is beautiful, an unseen force,
And it ends, this is the way. Hilarious.
I will say, if Sam Elliott is in this movie, I think it's a great casting. He fits right into the Western theme, and he's great in everything he does. So I'll take him. I'll take him as a a landman, a lawman, whatever he chooses to, He's probably some sheriff somewhere.
I was gonna say he'd be the new sheriff of Navarro.
Yeah, or
Marshal. Marshal, that's what it is.
Or of not Mos Espa on Tatooine,
Freetown.
Freetown. Yeah.
There was another name
Mos
that they gave it. Mos Pelgos. That's right.
Yeah.
And then they acknowledged, they were like, oh, well, in the book it was called Freetown, so we're just gonna call it that now. Well, I'll ask you, do you think they are marketing this movie poorly?
I think they're marketing it fine. People know it's coming out. They're really leaning hard into Grogu. So,
well, that'd be the only thing. Do people know that it's coming? It's been 3 years since Mando season 3, right? And I don't know. I watched Star Wars Explained breakdown of it this morning, and he was talking about how his phone, as soon as it aired, was blowing up because all his friends know him as the Star Wars guy. Going, is that a clip from the movie? Like, are they?
It could be.
Are they going to Hoth? I don't know. So people were saying, is this movie a comedy? Like, what is this?
I think it's going to be a good time,
I think it's going to be a good time. I do think there's something to be said for you need to make your marketing and your movie audience-proof, because audiences, normal people, don't think about this stuff like we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anywho, there's our thoughts on the Mandalorian and Grogu. Yep.
Grogu!
On the Mandalorian and Grogu, not a trailer. That we had fun, and I wish that you guys did too. But so speaking of Disney news, we got some new runners of the Disney company, which doesn't really affect Star Wars, but it is this is what keeps the train moving.
According to Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger shut down the last Ben Solo movie, so it could.
Good point.
It could affect it.
Good point. I can't think of the point that I was trying to say. I was like, this is the grease that greases the wheel. This is the whatever that keeps the treads moving.
This is the conductor on the train that is Disney.
Well, I'm saying that, like, keeps Star Wars moving. Whatever. They give Star Wars money, and they decide what happens and doesn't happen. And so I want to talk about who's going to make those decisions now. Yeah. But as of March 18th, Bob Iger is stepping down. Josh D'Amaro is the new CEO of Disney. And Dana Walden is the new president and chief creative officer. So it's very, very similar to what they're doing with Lucasfilm, and that they're two heads, right? Yeah. But it's different in that Josh D'Amaro is the CEO, chief executive. Dana is the president and CCO. Looks like Josh D'Amaro is more of a parks guy. It makes sense that there's two kind of heads, because Disney isn't just a film company. They also do theme parks, obviously.
Yeah.
He's a parks guy. Apparently, he's good at it. I've seen Skywalking Through Neverland talk about how, like, he's done good stuff over his tenure. Dana Walden hasn't been around in Disney as long, but she was CEO of 20th Century Fox for a long time. It looks like she's kind of taking the streaming and creativity side. Josh was asked a question about AI, and he gave a very corporate answer, because Disney signed that multi-million, it might have been billion-dollar deal to produce AI on Disney+. And all he said was, the reason this company is so special is because of how creative we are and the human beings that are generating that creativity. In my mind, that never gets replaced, which is a fancy way of saying humans are important, and in my mind, that will never go away. And he said nothing about the mind of the company. Because at the end of the day, if it's cheaper, they gonna go the cheap route. But hey, I don't know enough about either of these people to know how it'll affect Star Wars, but the bottom line is Kennedy's moving on, Iger's moving on. It'll be a while before we know what type of change this makes, if anything, to Star Wars and what gets made and what doesn't get made. But you got anything to say?
No, I really don't know anything about these two more than what we have said. Hopefully they is quote about AI is true, and we see less of it in our Disney Pluses and all of that, because the human element is what creates stories. Generative AI cannot create anything; they can only steal and copy. But for things that are not AI, but are still going to be fun, we got a whole Galactic Racer article from Games Radar. They had a interview with Matt Webster, who is the CEO of Fuse Games, who is making this game, and they talked all about it. He said, "We believe this style of high-speed, intense, aggressive, track-based arcade racing hasn't been fully serviced in the modern HD gamers. The game is promised to be in tune with the depth of mastery and replayability that racing brings." They are not new to racing games, but this is new for the Star Wars universe. They are pairing dense customization tools with a fleet of familiar and new vehicle types and challenging landscapes you'll recognize from the best Star Wars games. It seems Galactic Racer is burning serious rubber on its quest to make racing nerdy again. They say, you can't really make a Star Wars racing experience and not have pod racing. If you were worried about pod racing not being in the game or being in the game, we saw Sebulba. There's going to be pod racing.
Yeah.
The core fantasy of the game is becoming an elite racing pilot in the Galactic League, and pod racing is the pinnacle of speed and racing in the Star Wars galaxy. So we know that that's probably going to be higher levels, or it is definitely going to be in the game.
Cool.
He also said, however, we set out to create Galactic Racer. We wanted to do more, to lean into multiple vehicle types and multiple expressions of speed to give players a breadth of experiences. Galactic Racer offers players the ability to pilot vehicles they know and love, alongside ones they won't have experienced before, across a range of solo and multiplayer modes. That, to me, says a lot. It means that we're going to get new racing types, which is just going to expand the universe, which is very exciting. Definitely going to probably see swoop bikes. I think we saw that in the trailer. Pod racing, we saw speeders as well. But if you're worried about how it will play, they have said that you can adjust your camera modes. There's going to be a third person and a first person if you want that really immersive. Me personally, I find that first person is really hard to pilot, but some people love it. And they've also said that building your own Star Wars racecraft is a dream I'm sure many of us have had for a long time, and how you show up on the track is often as important as how well you race, especially against friends. Beauty's not skin deep in this game, as players will be able to not just modify the look of the vehicle, but the performance and characteristics too. So if you're that big gearhead, if you were like George Lucas wanting to fix up cars and throw them in as space racer, this game sounds like it's going to be for you. I love that there's going to be a lot of customization, both from performance to looks to what racer you might be able to do. It seems like there's going to be mixed racing game as well. And I love that it seems like it's going to have just a little bit of a story, which is great, but it's still going to be in tune with that original Star Wars racer, which it is kind of arcade. And everything that I have read about this seems great. Matt, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still stuck on that quote. They're doing the work to try and make racing nerdy again. I think that's funny. Yeah, I mean, everything about this sounds good. The proof isn't. We won't know until we're playing the thing. You know what I mean? But it does seem like they are marketing it well. I'm excited. This is a game that makes sense. I'm happy it exists, or is going to exist, rather. It makes me think about how, like, in Knights of the Old Republic, there's the swoop racing minigames, right?
Yeah.
So
I
let's
remember
take
those.
that and pod racing and put it all in one thing. That makes a lot of sense to me. But will they put in blob racing from the Jedi Academy books?
Blob racing? I don't know.
If you
about
know,
that.
you know. If I remember right, it's I haven't actually read those books. They're on my list. I'm on a whole Legends book tour this year. I need to get around to reading Master of Evil, but that's neither here nor there. But it's like Han and Chewie, they're like racing like jelly blobs.
Fun.
There's like a whole thing. And I've seen people make fun of it and say, that's stupid. And I'm like, it sounds fun. It sounds fun and silly. And there we go. But Zach, I know that you are out of your mind hyped for this.
I'm so excited.
So,
it comes out this year. They have not given a release date, which makes me think it'll probably be October, November, probably, just because otherwise they'd be marketing it pretty harder, I think, if it was May. I think if it was May, we would know. I don't think it'll come out during the summer unless it does. But I would put money on like October, November for this game coming out. But here's my promise to you, listener and watcher. I will change my gamer tag or whatever to Force of Others, and if you want to race against one of the Force of Others, will be Force of Others 1 or Foo 1 and Foo 2, or
Force of Others and Force of Otherm.
Yeah. Others with the S and others with the Z. I'll be the one with the Z.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah, well, yeah, honestly, you want to know the biggest reason that I think this is going to come out in October? That will be right after you and I have been in the same place for Rebel ScumCon,
so we won't be able to do it.
assuming. So we won't, that is, the universe has a sense of humor. Anywho, let's go into the Canon Comics Corner for the finale of The Legacy of Vader. So, just my opening thoughts for this issue. Things that should have been in the sequels for $5, please. Why you would set... Nah, I'm jumping. Whatever. You get the confrontation between Kylo Ren and really Anakin Skywalker as they reveal in this comic. And that's why, I will say this, why would you have it in Force Awakens that Kylo is talking to the helm of Vader? I will finish what you started and never follow up on that. The most they follow up on it is the next movie where you want to make the point about how the mask is stupid and he should just be himself. Last Jedi is fearless. Pick up what they put down. Don't throw it to the side and do something else. Rant over. Zach, your opening thoughts.
Yeah, I love when Star Wars gets existential and, occulty and weird and sci-fi and true fantasy, So I really like this comic. I love when characters are faced with a moral choice. I feel like that's kind of the true heart of Star Wars. Yeah. And so I really liked this thing. It's beautifully drawn, except for there's two panels that I'm like, ooh, that's a little weird, but besides that, it is beautiful. And it's hard to draw sometimes. That's mean. That's not what I'm saying. It's still well drawn. It's just there's a couple of times that I'm like, oh, interesting. But yeah, I think it's cool and fun.
Right. But leading with our positives, first big like for me, just Vader or, the specter of Vader talking to Kylo as he enters this. So if you don't know where we're at in this story, Kylo is deep inside Darth Vader's castle. This is between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And he has entered this private vault / void in the Force. It is the same type of thing that exists on Dagobah, right? The tree cave. And same as Yoda says to Luke, what's inside? Only what you take with you. As Kylo enters this, Vader tells him this place is true. The only voices you will hear, the only voices that are here are those you bring with you. It's the same thing. And I love that what Yoda says, what do you find? Only what you take with you. The dark side would also add, yeah, this is truth. Mm-hmm. This is your truth. This is what's inside you, which is,
Do you think this is dark side, though? Or do you think it's just the Force?
Well, I think that for it to be deep inside Vader's castle, there's a lot of dark sidey going on. Yeah. I think, because we're going to talk about it, the last panel of the comic is a new silhouette that looks very similar to Kylo Ren, but not quite, watching Kylo, and you see him from the back, and then it turns into a shadowy blue guy. It's Anakin Skywalker. And it's the reveal that Kylo has been talking to Anakin Skywalker the whole time. At least that's what I got out of it. I think that's what they were putting down.
Either that or it is two sides of the same person, and Ben and Kylo are truly different people.
But you don't think that's Anakin?
No, I think it's a better. I think it's better if it's Anakin, because otherwise the redemption doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So. But yeah.
Yeah. But I do think it is in a dark side void, right? But it's also, this is just Charles Soule doing the same thing, watching Dave Filoni and watching what he did on Ahsoka, where Anakin is going to use his sins, use the image of his failure of Darth Vader to teach a young Jedi something. Oh, this is what you think I was? Okay. I'll show you how much it didn't work. You know. Anywho, but your first big like.
First big like is this double panel that I actually thought was in the Han Solo comic, but then rereading this morning, I was like, oh, it was from this. It's a beautiful splash page of Han and Leia holding a young Ben, and she's like, what will he become? And Han says, whatever he will, like whatever he wants to be, we'll be there to support him. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, like, kind moment. Han's wearing the black and white vest because now anytime we do a flashback in comics, it's to that, which is fun. But yeah, I thought that was just a beautiful moment of, like, because, you know, Ben Skywalker is telling Kylo, you know, like, you can't kill your past. And so just that moment of the past is so beautiful.
Yeah.
What about you next?
Next big like, funny, giant Darth Vader. I just thought it was hilarious that Kylo is talking to Vader and then he's running on and falling off of something, and then you get to the next page. It's a splash page of a giant Darth Vader image.
Yeah.
Picking him up. You know, felt very 80s, very cartoon nonsense. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But next one to you.
Next one for me, there's this moment where Vader, it's right before Vader takes off the helmet and reveals that he's Ben Skywalker.
Yeah, Ben Solo.
Ben Solo, sorry. Skywalker, whatever. He says, your grandfather's greatest power was truth. He was strongest when he saw past the lies from those attempting to control or use him.
Yes.
His owners, his masters. When he eluded their machinations and made the choice only he could make, the true choice. When he joined the Jedi, when he defied them to marry Padme Amidala, when he avenged his mother, when he destroyed Palpatine, when he saw himself for what he truly was. Which is beautiful. That is beautiful writing there, but it's also a truth that we don't really think about. When Anakin is true to himself, he changes the galaxy, you know?
Yeah.
When he was true to himself, he picks up Palpatine and kills him, you know? So it's very interesting and a very tragic point of the character where it's like when he is led by others or ruled by others or told that he has to do something, then he does the opposite, or he's not true to himself. And I thought that was a really nice, like, dissection of who Vader or Anakin is.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Very well put, very well said. Retweet. Absolutely loved it. And that was the moment, because it's Vader saying that to him.
Yeah.
That was the moment where I was like, oh, so is he talking to, is that Anakin?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of wisdom coming out of a dark sidey cave. and there's not really a lot of manipulation there. He's working him, you know?
Yeah.
But all along the same lines, I thought it was hilarious that, and cool, that the cover of this book is Kylo Ren versus Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. And the opening pages are Kylo Ren versus Darth Vader. It lasts for like 3 pages, right? Yeah. This book is Kylo Ren versus Ben Solo. Mm-hmm. Right? Which is way just better. And just kind of similarly, the next quote, and I think this is from Ben Solo, but you've destroyed your relationships with everyone you could possibly call family. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey man, you are isolating yourself, which that's also a quote that we need to remember that hit me. You need to remember that in your real life, guys. Like, when you push people away, they're gonna stay away. You did it. You pushed them away, right? There's a difference between, sometimes you do have to kind of, love all, trust few, do harm to none. sometimes you do have to remove people from your journey if they're stopping you from where you want to go. But if you push people away, sometimes they listen.
Yeah.
You know? Anywho. But back to you.
Yeah, my next pick is that same quote, but also the things that follow it as well. You've methodically destroyed every connection in your life, so you went back even further to your grandfather and tried to force a connection there. You brought destruction, chaos, and death to everyone you met. At least Vader had reasons for the things he did. You're just an explosion. I love that's the dichotomy. That is a writer being like, hey, here's the true essence of Vader, and here's the true essence of Kylo. Like, these are like broken down. Here we go. Great character moments. You know?
Yeah, you're just an explosion.
Yeah,
is
I mean, you could see
great.
it. You could see it in his lightsaber. You know, like it is an explosion. So.
Well, and I had it on there. I thought it was hilarious that as those words were being said, it was written over a recap of the major events of this comic book, and which for a moment, I mean, I'll just ask you. This is bouncing into a discussion question.
Yeah.
Do you think this was always the plan for this book to end here?
I do. I think we talked about it before, where we think that this book has been shortened. I do think this was the original plan because it seems so existential and so Charles Soule to have this conversation. I think you could. Well,
I guess. I mean, do you think it was always the plan for it to be this short, or do you think it was going to breathe more?
I still think it was meant to breathe more. I think this could even be a partway finale through a book.
Yeah.
Like an end of the first act into a second act that got cut.
Yeah.
Because it does seem a little, especially he's like the only choice that you made for yourself was to let the girl go. And that's because you and I was like, oh, that seems like we're rushing.
Yes.
That part
Agreed.
of the recap of the book felt a little rushed. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Agreed. Wanted your thoughts on that, but back to you.
Yeah. I love just when he is finally Ben Solo, just telling him truths. You know, he's like, move forward, make your choices, no one else's. Stop all this looking backward, all this obsessing over things you can't change. Ignore those voices in your head if you can. And I love that line because it ties directly into the beginning of Rise of Skywalker. I am every voice that you have ever heard in your head. If it is Anakin, it is Anakin knowing that, hey, the voices in your head aren't you. It's not me, and it's not who you think it is. Stop listening to the voices in your head. Make your own decisions. Stop, which is that's a good, Matt and I, before we were talking about this, I was talking about imposter syndrome and stuff like that. That's a good, moral for life as well. Stop listening to, what title of show, Die Vampire Die. Don't listen to the vampires in your head. Don't listen to the things that are trying to suck your own joy in your head. Make your own decisions. Move forward. Yeah. I think that's a good way of life. So.
100%. Well put. Again, retweet. But small just super nerdy fun. I love that Ben Solo does the lightsaber catch from Duel of the Fates. That the Force Ghost that was going to be Luke in the first draft, and then the concept art of Luke Skywalker's ghost just catching Kylo's lightsaber as he swings it toward him. It's the same thing. It's full on referencing that, which I like because it is very, very possible and likely that the idea for this issue came from that concept from the Duel of the Fates draft, where it was going to be Kylo Ren fighting a specter of Darth Vader. Right? And so I think that's them kind of homaging, let's put this into canon in a way. Right? Yeah. But back to you.
Just a couple more, but I really liked the ending of this. He's like, be careful what you wish for, throwing him out into what looks like a lava pit, and just like the specter of him watching over. The first time I read it, I did not even think that it could be Anakin, but it does make so much sense because their silhouettes are so similar on purpose, to show that lineage. And looking at it again, it has the belts and everything. It definitely could be Anakin. But I love it felt a little Marvel, but I'll talk about that in dislikes. But,
Well, felt a little Marvel. What do you mean?
Yeah. Kylo Ren will return. Like at the end of watching a Marvel movie and being like, okay, this character, he's not dead. Great.
Yeah, so just to steer into it before whatever else, before we get into dislikes, the last page is what I think is Anakin watching Kylo, and then becoming a shadowy blue guy because you see him from behind, Kylo falling to what looks like his death, and it says, "The rain ends, the fall begins, Kylo Ren will return." Is that because there's going to be another comic, or is that just a way of... Yeah, he comes back in Rise of Skywalker.
I think it's in case you pick up this book and it's your first one ever, because you have to write every comic book like it's the first one that they're ever reading, not knowing anything else. If this is your first Star Wars and you're like, oh, that dude's dead. He just fell into a lava pit, I think it's just in case you're reading this and haven't watched Rise of Skywalker yet, he's coming back. Or it could be that they're making another comic book, but I think it's a more a safety measure,
Yeah.
But it's interesting that it says Kylo Ren will return and not Ben Solo will return.
Well, because it would be... I guess that's true. Well, yeah, but he's not Ben Solo yet. You know what I mean? I guess it could go either way. I think it's both. I think that I've said it before on the show. I think that Star Wars comics are in a weird spot right now, and I think they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. And so I think it is, if this issue sells well, which I don't know the metrics of any of that, then we did the Legacy of Vader. Now we'll do the Fall of Kylo Ren, right? And we'll walk right up to Rise of Skywalker. Or, like you said, it's if this doesn't go, okay, we can just kind of say that Rise of Skywalker happens shortly after this book ends. Anywho, so we led with our positives. You got any other likes, any other major loves, or moving into dislikes?
No, those are my big ones. It's a great comic though, I will say.
Yeah. Moving into dislikes, we're gonna have some fun with this first one. So we do see finally in that little recap, Kylo Ren stabbing a Gargoyle of the Hutt. Charles, where is the Michelin Man spider guy? At least show us his little corpse. Why are you torturing us? You made this super cool sidekick for Gardulla that I fell in love with, that has
and he doesn't even like spiders.
That trash talks Kylo Ren, and you never show him again. Where is he?
Sorry to your listeners' ears for spiking the mic.
Yeah, I definitely did just yell. I'll bring my audio down. Sorry if that hurt your ears, Zach.
No, you're good. My first big dislike is when Ben Solo is telling Kylo Ren that he's like his father, and they do this reaction of Kylo being like angry, but they tried to mesh in a little bit of Han Solo, and it's bad. It's
It looks like he aged 75 years before that panel.
Yeah.
He might as well be saying, "Why, you little whippersnapper?" Like, I don't get what they were trying. It's so
I think they were
weird.
just trying to put some Harrison Ford in there, and then the morph wasn't it.
It did not work. Didn't work at all. That was my next big dislike. I laughed when I saw that panel. I was like, oh no. But along the exact same vibe, or same vein, which I think is the other one, Ben Solo smiling. What happened to his face? Like,
it looks like he went full Jim Carrey.
It doesn't. It's like, and now he turns into the Joker, and now his face becomes Play-Doh. It was strange. It was very, very strange. So him frowning and him smiling just did not work. But you got any? That's my negatives. You got anything else?
Just that this. It's a like and a dislike. We thought that he might have killed the Jedi, but they say that he failed at it. So I thought that was kind of unclear storytelling.
Yes.
I know it was kind of like left in the ether, but I guess that the mind trick Jedi got away, which is cool because I like that character, but also like it wasn't the whole point that he finally killed the Jedi. I don't know.
Well, I think that was the whole thing, is that he keeps saying you tried to do all these things that Vader did and you failed at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a question, because what happened to her? Because the first panel, it shows Kylo, his lightsaber going through her middle. And the second panel, she's like levitating in the air and he's like cutting through her legs. Is that just it showing that she escaped and he missed her both times? Like, is she alive?
I think she's alive. Well, I mean, I think this confirms she's alive because he said you failed at it. And we know that she's the best at mind tricks, so maybe it's just she has put in his mind that he cut her in half and then that she turned into a, like, creepy ghost. And she's, like, around the building on the other side being like, you know?
Or it could also just be that he doesn't know if he killed her or not, so...
Yeah.
Or, I mean, yeah, but at the end of that
Anakin
panel...
would know.
I guess that's true. And maybe he's just punking him. And at the end of that panel, Kylo Ren is just screaming, and he's alone in the alley, so maybe it is just them saying that maybe she never even came outside with him.
Yeah.
She was just mind-tricking him from afar the whole time. Just
very possible, too.
Escaping.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anywho, so we've already moved full on into discussion questions, but I thought it was super interesting that, like, this whole cave, this vault, whatever, is talking about how, like, your power comes from you. It made me think about the Stranger's sensory deprivation mask.
Yeah.
It's almost like some dark side power comes from, like, a weird... It's like you need to meditate, but not peacefully. You need to meditate focusing only on yourself and your pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like meditate without doing the work.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, I am angry. I see my anger. And not letting it pass. Just like purely looking inwards and holding on to it. That make any sense?
Yeah.
It's weird. But that's the thing I'll say. This comic is weird.
But in a good way.
Yes, but it's a thinking person's comic.
Yeah.
You know? Which is cool. I haven't really seen that before. I'll say it right now. I hope this isn't the last time Charles Soule gets to write Star Wars. I'm sure it won't be. But nothing else is announced is coming down the pipeline. If it is, I've missed it.
Yeah.
But you got any other questions? Or discussion points?
Question for you. So we have seen Luke in a Dagobah cave. We have assumed that Yoda's been in a Dagobah cave. We have seen Rey in a cave of some sort on the Octo. We've seen Kylo in a version of this cave now. What character do you want to see next in the Dagobah cave?
So I'm going to shout out Will of the Force. He put out his interview with Sam Witwer recently on his channel, and he asked Sam if Maul was to go into the Dagobah cave, what would he see? And Sam Witwer paused and said, I know exactly what he would see, and that is all that I can say. Or he's like, and that's all that I'm going to say, or something like that. And it's just like...
So we're getting
Dagobah
cave and Maul Shadow Lord.
Are we getting that on Shadow Lord?
Cool.
And that's who I would want to see, because Maul is broken in every sense of the word. Always has been, always will be. And he never got to make his own choices. He was abducted by Sidious as a kid. As like a baby. Right? So, that's who I'd want to see in there. And we also know, I think this is from the Age of Resistance comic, the one featuring Kylo Ren. That's the story where Kylo Ren goes to the Dagobah cave. Snoke takes him. And in it, he's confronted by basically all of his family members, and he destroys the cave. Yeah. He cuts the tree out of the ground. Cool little comic. Recommend it. But I don't know. Who do you want to see in the Dagobah cave, or in a Dagobah cave-like situation?
So I would love to see what Yoda saw. I would love to have that fully fleshed out, because he is so knowledgeable about it. Some would say we kind of saw it a little bit on Clone Wars. In that thing, but I would love to see Yoda, after the fall of the Republic, what he sees. I would love to see I guess we've kind of gotten Ahsoka in the cave with Ahsoka meeting Vader again in the World Between Worlds. But I would love to see maybe, I don't know. I would love Leia I would love to see what Leia sees in the Dagobah cave. She's such an interesting and complex character that we don't get a lot of viewpoint from in canon. So I would love to see that. Yeah.
Would make for a really good Luke and Leia novel.
Yeah. Just
yeah,
write it,
like,
Matt.
Here you go, Lucasfilm Publishing. And they would say, thank you, and put it in the trash. Because they have to. But yeah, I mean, guys, The Rise of Skywalker isn't complete garbage. You set up that Luke trained Leia. I would like to see that story.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that's a good answer. Leia's a great answer. I want to see what her Jedi training was like. Mm-hmm. We've seen the end of it. And we're going to see a little bit of how she trained Rey in Legacy, that novel upcoming. But why? It's a no-brainer to get Luke training Leia. Yeah. That is an absolute no-brainer story. And that's not what the question was, but that's what I'm talking about now. Yeah. But Leia is... I think Leia and Maul are my two answers.
Yeah.
That's good.
It'd be interesting to see what Palpatine sees, because he's so self-absorbed. You know, like,
I almost
he's
feel
so
like
confident and like evil. Like
I think he'd be so happy. He
Yeah.
would just be in joy. He would be watching every single one of his enemies die horribly, and if he had the opportunity, I mean, he probably kicks it in a version of that constantly.
Yeah.
Just laughing. Like Return of the Jedi, it's because it's the go-to villain thing of they turn the chair around. But before Luke walks in, and when Vader walks in at one point, he's just staring out at the stars, looking at nothing.
Yeah.
Just looking out at the galaxy that he has. Probably just meditating on all of his wins.
Mm.
But to go back to what we're talking about... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
One more. I think Dooku would be really interesting.
Yeah.
With everything that we've been getting lately about him.
Yeah, like, that's... You want to talk... Well, okay. I don't believe that the Clone Wars saved the prequels or fixed the prequels. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely think that they aided them, and they made the characters more interesting for the rest of wider storytelling. Please keep doing this, Disney, with... or not Disney, Lucasfilm. Disney, let them keep doing this for the sequel trilogy characters. But just keep doing that. Like, everybody would kind of agree that the sequels were fumbled in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. The prequels were too. You know, arguably more so. Hot takes. I know.
Hot takes.
Hey, like, I think Force Awakens is infinitely more watchable than Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, and I don't even think it's close. I don't think it's a discussion. That is such a more watchable movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't have cringy moments, with the exception of like the clear cover songs, right, and the lack of new ideas. But every single character beat works in that movie, and there are things in Phantom Menace that you're like, okay, I guess I'll try spinning. That's a good trick. Jar Jar's stepping in poop now. You know what I mean? So is Revenge of the Sith great? Yeah. Do I also think it's kind of overrated? Yes. Is Rise of Skywalker kind of bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think Force Awakens, you can follow that movie and stick with that movie better, for me, than any of the prequels. What I'm saying is, the prequels were poorly received too.
Yeah.
That did not stop George from telling more prequel stories. He didn't care. You know? And Clone Wars became popular. It wasn't a home run at first. The Clone Wars movie doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And it bombed. That didn't stop them from continuing to tell stories.
Yeah, Dave Filoni, if you're listening to this, listen to
He's
Charles
not.
Soule. Ignore the voices in your head. Choose a path forward, you know.
Yeah. But anywho,
Make the sequel Clone War. What would we even call it? Resistance Wars.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we can't do Rise of the Resistance because that's a ride.
I mean, anyway. Yeah.
Resistance Rising.
Well, they tried with Resistance, and they tried that show, and they tried a new version where it was going to be a more kid-friendly version, which is cool. But anyway, so to talk about what we're talking about, we kind of hard tangented into Star Wars in general. But, Zach, closing thoughts on the Legacy of Vader comic as it is done.
Really like this comic. It took a second to get off the ground for me. I'm not. I have been on here saying the first few issues I was like, but these last ones were really a home run. And I definitely recommend reading it if you like the character of Kylo. It gives you more about the character than even some of the movies does. It is kind of an existential, focus case study on Kylo Ren. Which is really good and really unique, and I hope they give us some more. Charles Soule's a great artist, writer, so give us some more Charles Soule stuff, because we will continue to read it.
Yes, if it has his name on it, I will read it. The only thing that I haven't is his High Republic stuff. I read the first novel of the High Republic, Light of the Jedi, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Just devoured it in like a couple days. I had the time. It was in my holiday break, and so I just audio booked it for like a couple days. But he's the GOAT, in my opinion. So give us more of that. I loved this. I loved parts of this book. I think it needed to be fleshed out a little bit, but I really do think there's a wider thing going on with Star Wars comics right now. Of they're giving us less as opposed to the like buffet we've been getting for a little bit. Yeah. Which is fine, but I think that this needed another 10 issues.
Yeah.
And I will always believe, until I get to talk to Charles Soule, and he probably wouldn't be able to say, but that this was gonna be his Vader Dark Lord of the Sith comic, but for Kylo Ren. And that had 25 issues, and this got 12?
Yes. 11?
Yeah.
12? Yeah,
12.
somewhere around there.
So, anyway, there's our thoughts on Legacy of Kylo, Legacy of Vader. Leave yours in the comments below, or email us and, let us know if we're off base and if I'm stupid for saying that Force Awakens is more watchable than the prequels. There will be a lot of you that disagree, and that's fine. But, Zach, how can the people get involved with what they just watched or listened to?
Yeah, best way to get involved is to hit the like and the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when we're putting out content. Get in the comments or email us, forceofothersradio@gmail.com. And we will get back to you. We have some exciting stuff coming up, some cool interviews, some Force of Others stuff coming up, and more content coming your way. If you're excited for Galactic Racer, let me know, and we'll exchange, gamer handles, and we'll see who's the better racer. It will probably be you, but I will have a fun time anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you guys race us, you're going to win. Almost
if you're
guaranteed.
racing Matt, you're going to win, but...
Okay!
Oh, shots
That's
fired.
how this is, huh? All right, that's fine. That's fine. Lucasfilm, please put this game out before Rebel Scum Con. Just please. I don't want to have to travel to New York just to try it, just to get beaten by Zach in a game and then be bitter. The trash talking has begun now. But anywho... yeah, man, get in the comments, do the stuff, send the emails, do all the things. There's a lot of Star Wars coming. I liked the Super Bowl spot. I had a good time with it. I think it's okay when Star Wars is silly.
Yeah.
I understand why people were upset, I should also say, because I think we heard trailer. And so I thought, trailer, not joke, right?
Not teaser.
So, anyway, neither here nor there. I had a good time this week. Hope you all had a good time, and if not, let us know. But,
Happy Valentine's to you from us, and hug a loved one this week,
I thought you were about to say a Star Wars alien. Hug a lug. I don't know.
Hug a lug, the Star Wars love bear. It's one of the Ewoks, hug a lug.
I don't have a send-off after that. The point is, go spend some time with somebody that you love this week, wherever they are. Just let them know that you care about them. And that being said, remember, we are not the force of others, you are. And the force of others will be with you.
Always. Hug-a-lug, the force of others. A Star Wars podcast.
Hug-a-lug. This is not
He is a bear.